Hello, how are you? Welcome to this current iteration of the Prema Dharmadhatu Healing Circle. It's posted on this powerful Stargate date of 2/02/2022, February 2nd, 2022. A Stargate date, if you don't know, indicating as everything breaks down to numbers, there's astrology, numerological indications of forces in the universe affecting us here, obviously on Earth and elsewhere. And the numerology of the date, if it's strong, like a 222 or 111, etc., 333, often points to a peak time of downloading from the universe, or our ability and an opportunity for us to receive more psychic information than normal. And of course, some of us do this unconsciously, and we may have headaches, or we might get tense, or we might have dreams. And others of us who are light holders and are involved strongly on the spiritual path obviously will consciously take advantage of these dates. And so this last period from 12/02/2021 to now coming into 2/22/2022 at the end of this month is a peak period of many Stargate dates. And twos often indicate a strong sense of divine feminine energy coming, which of course is much needed at this time. And so I've been guided I started with the Violet Flame, and then I did the Prema Agni Healing Circle, which I released on Christmas Day. And now today I am doing the Sister Healing Circle, which we always do, sister symbol and consciousness Prema Dharmadhatu, which is what this whole event experience today is about for those of you who are new to it. And then on 2/22/2022, I'll be doing Embracing the Mahatma Energy event, which I often do, which again, the Mahatma is also indicating about the return of divine feminine energy. So the indications from the universe in this time period strongly are focused on allowing those of us who are awake enough, and even anybody really who's receptive, even unconsciously, to receive more softness and integration and all the things that the divine feminine affords us if we, connect and align with her. And so that's why it's posted today. So whether you join in today or you're viewing it at some other point, it's all downloaded and encoded. And so you'll receive whatever you need at the time that you are experiencing it. And it's a Prema Dharmadhatu, as you'll find out if you don't know, is a great tool to have in your spiritual arsenal, your spiritual toolkit, to help you process all the ascension energies and all the stuff that's going on spiritually that is affecting us in the physical as we ascend. And, it also reminds us, also when you watch things past the date or the exact time that it reminds us that, time is an illusion. And everything is happening all in the now anyway, which is what the Prema Dharmadhatu is all about, which we'll get into later. That stillness, that coming back to the point of truth, of simplicity in each moment. Now, everything's happening in the now anyway. It's what we align to, right? And also this new format of Zoom workshops and events, as opposed to everyone gathering in a healing center, which of course I do miss. But there are advantages to facilitating an event this way online, as God is everywhere, right? And with, via Zoom, with COVID surging, et cetera, and everything, there's an advantage to, just being in your own space and adapting to this way of either like me facilitating or you receiving a workshop in this way, and we do realize and we do expand to the awareness that God is indeed everywhere. And we can receive as if we were actually physically present as well, right from the comfort of your own home. And so after a long winter of COVID isolation, we can actually reassess. This actually was a reset on a universal scale. What does that mean? Everything that happens in the spiritual is mirrored in the physical, as most of us who are any kind of spiritual seeker know, right? And so we've been ascending strongly since 2012, before even that and beyond, and up until now. And yet there's been a backlash and resistance to that by many people. And we see that played out politically, religiously, culturally, with this sense of isolation and separation, the other being wrong or bad, etc. And this is all an extreme resistance to what is coming and unfolding, because the ego is rearing its ugly head, trying to tear everything down. And our job is to master the ego and rise above that. And so the reset, the sort of manifested or universally imposed, if you will, whole COVID thing, which we're still going through, is a way to take a step back and reset and reassess. And all that time, many of us, I know myself, I was in isolation all that time. I had a lot of time to think, a lot of time to ponder and contemplate, and even just reset internally my own clock while all this craziness was rolling around, to prepare now to come back out into the world and do events again. I was doing workshops at least once a week, sometimes twice a week, for 10 years straight, nonstop, not to mention all the initiations and healing. So in a sense, my own physical body needed I'm human after all, needed a reset. But because of everything that was going on and taking on and all that, the spiritual reset was necessary. And I'm sure many of you, all of you, have on some level experienced that, whether you're a professional light worker or not. You've had some way to reset in your family, in your relationships, in your own self, etc. And so now we're coming back to a space in these strong Stargate period, as I said, from the December to now the end of February here, transition from year to year even, is really, 2022 is going to be the year, hopefully spiritually, that we start to really incorporate the divine feminine and allow and embrace the softness, and to counteract the distortion of divine masculine that has happened so strongly, which is itself a resistance to ascension. Because ascension, before, as a humanity, we've ascended 4 times, as many of you may know, 4 or 5 so times. We've had to die and come back, and that's why these races disappeared, didn't know where they were, because the planet, the vibration on the planet was so dense that the human body couldn't sustain that. But in spite of all of our craziness, we are working hard. We've been working hard, and many of us, more and more incarnating lifetime after lifetime, have been working hard to hold light and to get us to a place where we can now ascend while we're in our body. And as such, the earth itself, Mother Gaia, again, the divine feminine realized in physical form, holding us, nurturing us, birthing us, if you will, is ascending with us. And that's why you see all these earth changes and all these bodily changes within us. All of this is part of the process. And so the Prema Dharmadhatu and, of course, the Prema Agni are part of the new symbols and the new consciousness to help us through all that. And for those of you who don't know, we're going to go through all that in the course of this event, what that all is. But I just wanted to give, a reminder, an overview of what we're going through. We're ascending in this lifetime while we're in our body, which means we don't have to die and come back. But it's causing all kinds of ripple effects of, ascension symptoms. You always hear about that: the hot, the cold, the sleeping too much, not sleeping at all, the mood swings, and then the earth changes that are happening, climate change, all of that. It's all part of the process. When we're seeing it on the news or experiencing it directly, of course, we're in our experience, so we don't see it clearly. We don't step back. But events like this, these spiritual gyms, as I like to call them, these workshops, attending them regularly, or indeed using the tool, which is we're going to do here tonight as well, teach you, if you don't know, how to use the Prema Dharmadhatu symbol in healing for yourself, in connection and alignment with divine energy simply, helps us through it, because the universe provided us these tools at this time because it knew we needed that and we were ready. And so that's what this event is all about. Okay, so in the YouTube description below, there are 4 clips, about 15-20 minutes each, that are from a Prema Dharmadhatu Healing Circle I did back in 2012 when the Ascension consciousness was at its peak with my dear friend and colleague Terry Merlis. And I encourage you highly, as part of this event, this experience, or whenever you can, click on those links, and if you haven't seen it, refer to them, because they give you live demonstrations with a live audience when we were at a healing center doing the work. So you'll get a different perspective than this now experience you're having. And I can go in further detail that I can here about using the Prema Dharmadhatu as a body mudra, how to do it long distance, all of that, etc. Here is about connecting with the reset that the universe is offering us and how to utilize the symbol and the consciousness to move forward from now, easily and simply, daily practice, so that you can keep yourself in alignment more and more instead of less and less. And that's what the focus of today's circle is. Again, it's like a gym. You don't just go to the gym once, you go all the time, right? So it's the same thing. The more you come to these events, they're always a little different, right? And they always reinforce. So those links, especially part 2 and part 3, will really instruct you in a different vibration than here to balance out, and I highly encourage you to watch them. Also, there are other clips there. There is a meditation that Terry did, Prema Dharmadhatu, which is wonderful to help align the chakras. There is a strong observing the divine feminine, observing the void, which is a powerful meditation, which is meant to do like once a month, so that when you go to do the Dharmadhatu on your own daily, it's that much stronger. So it's like going to an advanced gym, and then you go to a class, but every day you go to regular gym. It's the same thing in essence of working out. And as I always say, you never lose spiritual muscle. When you go to physical gym and you're working out, you have to keep going and keep going and keep doing that. And if you stop, your muscles will eventually atrophy, because why? We are not of the physical. We are in a body, not of a body. But when you do spiritual work, like any kind of event like this, or meditation or healing or whatever, right, you never lose that. It just adds to your consciousness and it awakens you, and it's harder to go back to being asleep, because you're allowing and inviting the awakeness. So we're going to learn the mini healing inherent in the Prema Dharmadhatu and its consciousness today. So please do avail yourself of those clips below. There's also clips explaining about the return of the divine feminine and the sacred symbols in general. And I also will include in the YouTube description below the Prema Agni Healing Circle, which we posted on Christmas Day, of this past Christmas Day, which is the brother event to this, in case you haven't seen it. So you have all of this at your disposal. So I highly encourage you at least to watch those 2 clips, part 2 and 3 of the Prema Dharmadhatu, that are listed below as part of this at some point. It will be a vital help to you. And also, please, as you hear people say, if you like this video, click on the like button and hit the bell for notification. So please subscribe to my channel, and then hit the notification and like the video. Of course, it all helps. Right now, because of the way things worked out with COVID and everything, and all of that, YouTube is the prime place to connect in these pre-recorded events and workshops that then can be disseminated all over. And thank God for YouTube for that. I'm highly grateful. And so please do that. And also please share these videos with anyone whom you feel may be interested. Share the link to YouTube. I can't reach everybody directly yet, and I'm doing my best to expand. And also, it acts like a seva for you, a service. If you like what you see and you vibe to it, of course, the Prema Dharmadhatu, you are expanding awareness of that, the symbols, energy to people who might not be aware. And it's for anybody and everybody. You don't have to be in a certain religion or cult. None of that craziness. It's not about you being initiated or anything, or having to have prior experience or be a professional, whatever. It's really about your willingness to open up, to expand and love consciousness, which is what these symbols are about. So anyone can benefit. Let's see. So I'm going to take a few minutes to go over some of the basics. So for those of you who are aware of the symbol, the Prema Dharmadhatu, just bear with me. And it's good to reinforce, always to remember, we don't always take the time to do that. Oh, also, if you're listening with earbuds on or the headphones, just the volume, so that when the music comes on, you can receive comfortably and not have to, be distracted. So all of us on the spiritual path, right, are seeking to evolve and stay strong, as a lot of the chaos is brewing all around us and even within us. And this is all part of the divine plan of and design. But again, as I stated, when you're in it, sometimes you're only concerned with that, and you're like, oh my God, this is ever going to end, and you're not taking the step to take the big picture, to step back. And so that's what, when you activate and draw the symbols daily for yourself, as you'll see, it gives you that opportunity as part of your daily routine to take that step back and says, okay, all is well. Now I can move forward with more light. All is well. Now I can move forward with more light. All is well. And now I can move forward with more light instead of less. And it's an ongoing process. It's never going to end per se. There's peaks and valleys, there's strong points, but we're still in this lifetime, and in this time of this lifetime, these last years, still in the midst and the thick of the battle, if you will, for the, you always hear the battle for the soul of America. Well, it's really the spiritual warfare of more light or less light, more repetition of the old ways and dark ways, or new integration of the new and unconditional love ways. And so that's where we're at. And we are being asked more and more, tested. It's part of the test too, if you will, to be able to live like being in that eye in the center of a hurricane, or storm. In hurricane or twister, there's all these, you see the cow moving, the truck moving, the house is picked up, all the kids running. But in the center, everything is still and calm. You could look up and you can see even the clouds are parted, and you could see. And if you move too forward past the center, you're right back caught up in the maelstrom. If you go back, you're caught up in the maelstrom. If you get distracted off to the side, you're caught up in it until you get back in. So that, again, as above, so below, everything is a mirror of where we're at the moment. And so, again, using these symbols and the consciousness of the Prema Agni, Prema Dharmadhatu, as you will see, and the rising star, and more in sense of the healing modality, if you need a strong healing as opposed to a daily application, you will see as you go along, helps keep you more in that space and less in the crazy space. And that's within yourself, that's within your relationships, your family, work, everything. Going on the subway, just riding, walking down the street even. We're all vulnerable in a way, but the more you connect with the energy, divine energy, and divine recognition of yourself as divine being, the less you attract, and the more you stay in that space. And then that's called anchoring light. And so the whole hurricane itself, the whole system of it physically, is a mirror of spiritually where we're at. We forget a lot of times every little thing that happens, because say you have a flood or an earthquake or something, it's so traumatic and you're dealing with it and people are dying and things are happening, but it's actual mirror of what's going on spiritually. And so it's up to us light workers as much as possible, as we have been taking on that task of holding and anchoring light and staying in that center, no matter what happens. Of course, Sai Baba, the great Sai Baba, always talked about equanimity, that no matter whether you win $1 billion and your life changes or somebody dies, your reaction is the same. Now, of course, that's an ideal that many people don't always follow. I don't know if I won $1 billion, if I could not be woohoo, or I don't know if somebody I love died, where I can be okay, oh God, oh well. But as much as you can be in that space and still move forward, that's going to help and benefit everything, that person's soul, your situation, taking the money, because a lot of people that receive a lot of money end up, jumping off bridges or messing it up or whatever. So I'm just examples. But what I'm saying is, again, it's about being in the eye of the storm. And what I found personally for me, and I'm sure many of you have who've been working with symbols, because I've been so strongly working with these symbols since 2003, 2004, is that it staves off when my Italian anger comes up, it staves it off. Like it makes it less than before. It would be a stronger reaction, and it might cause a consequence that I didn't like, or something that I wish I hadn't said, or something that I regret. So if I actually see it in real time, even within my own being, affording me the opportunity to come back to that space more, as I built up thousands and thousands of times, drawing this symbol from myself on others, build up that energy to hold up the stamina to stay in the space of stillness rather than get involved in the drama. But of course, I still get aggravated at times. Italians, we call agita, and of course, there's times when things challenge me, but that's the point. Nothing is set in stone. Nothing is, okay, you do this now, everything's done. It's an ongoing process, right? And so it's very important for us to be aware of that. And so strengthening and expanding love is the mission and the mandate of the Prema Dharmadhatu, of the Prema Agni. It is a gift of inestimable value from the universe to us as humanity. And people are still awakening to it. Even though they started coming in 2003, 2004 with the Prema Agni, the symbol, and a lot of people are in the spiritual world are understanding, accepting it. There's still can be a lot more people awakened to the consciousness of what it is. And so, for the rest of my life, God willing, if they want me to, I will be doing this work to keep, promoting the symbols that I'm so passionate about, because I know how they really help and how they really, heal. I've seen it in my own experience with my spiritual teacher, with others. I've seen it on others that I've done it for. So it's so simple. It's free to all. It's open to anyone can do it. It's just a matter of learning that habit and focusing on that habit, right? As opposed to just being in all the time, right? So the consciousness of the symbol, the consciousness and the symbols associated with this consciousness and the healing in her are spiritual tools that you can easily employ daily to maintain alignment and help others along the way. Remember, again, it's not about perfection or ritual. It's about alignment more and more instead of sporadically, because all of us, if we're decent people, at some point we align with the universe sporadically when we're praying or when we're in a moment of real contemplation. But when you consciously apply yourself with intention, that's what ascension is too. Intention is the key to ascension. And so, because it's happening anyway, but a lot of people are resisting it, and a lot of people are just half getting it. But when you're a light worker and you're really getting it and you're incorporating, you're allowing it and you're anchoring more and more light, it's more and more happens directly. And of course, you go through stuff at this too, but there's also rewards with it of holding, experiencing more light, and your body being better, your mind being better, etc. So all the symbols and healers and avatars over time and millennia building to this moment is now, to help create the coming golden age of light. And that's now. You heard the saying, there's no time like the present. The point is, we've been disappointed so many times before. We've only gotten so far so many times before we died, came back with that karmic memory and had to move on again. But this time, I don't say this time is different. That's not what I mean, but this time is different because, and it's still ongoing. There's still no guarantee per se, but the spiritual teachers and the masters and the avatars and all the strong light, they're working like the Dickens to counteract all this recalcitrance that is still there, to just letting light in. Everybody just got along and lived in unconditional love. The whole world would change in every way. It would just automatically manifest. But, it takes a village. It doesn't take just one person. So the most recent levels of enlightenment that prepared us for this time, which was last century, the advent of Reiki and the Reiki symbols. And more recent, in the 1980s, the higher divine rays became manifest and the Mahatma energy became more manifest. Now, of course, we don't have good time to all that. And there's certainly, I have tons of videos. And also, by the way, if you have a comment or a question you want to answer to something, put it in the comment in the YouTube description below too, and I'll check it regularly and answer it for you. It's a good way to communicate rather than email, since I'm posting this on YouTube now. And I will send you links to videos, or if you subscribe to my channel, you'll see all about the divine rays, the Mahatma, the violet flame, all the divine energies of creation that are all of us divine birthright to employ. We do it subconsciously to a degree on some level, but when you consciously have all these, it's like being a kid in a spiritual candy store. You can use all this energy, and not use it, it's the wrong word. You can align with more consciously and more infuse yourself with all these energies, divine energies, consciously, and it changes your whole outlook, perception, life, everything, and therefore your reality shifts, and you can shift it for others. And it really is just what it is. There's just been certain people along the way who have called it the violet flame or have called it the Mahatma to indicate it so we can understand it. But it's divine energy at the end of the day, and levels and degrees and layers of that we can tolerate, And now in this generation, the consciousness has been, especially with 2012 starting, everybody had 2012, the Ascension was happening. Everybody thought it was an ending. It was actually a beginning. And all leading up to that time, and now after that time, the new sacred symbols, the new sacred consciousness of the new age, the new human being, the new enlightened, fully realized self has started to emerge. And it's penultimate. So the symbols that you see, I'm going to show you in a moment, they're penultimate, meaning there's really nowhere else to go. They look like us, they feel like us, they're connected with us energetically. They strongly incorporate everything, every element of life, from numbers, letters, teachings, everything. It's all included in there, simply distilled down to its universal, simplest application that we can take, either look at, experience, draw on ourselves or others, have on our house. Look, I'm even wearing, this is the Prema Dharmadhatu, if you could see it, I'm even wearing it. Two hearts mirroring each other. It holds that consciousness. The rising star, which is the Prema Agni, with the Star of David above it, and the peacock feathers. The staff of Shiva spreading out from that. So there's little variations that may happen. Who knows what may come along? But the point is, there's really nowhere else to go. Now we just have to go in. It's just like even science is acknowledging the universe has expanded so much, it's starting to contract. So even science on the physical plane is understanding that things are coming back to center, coming back home, coming back to the stillness, the 0 point, correct? Of course, there's a lot contained in the other videos, information that you can avail yourselves of, which I go into extreme good detail with, an explanation and meditations about. So it's all there, and I'm sure there's other sources you can take up with. But today we're focused on the Prema Dharmadhatu. Just like last month at Christmas Day, we focused on the Prema Agni. And usually twice a year, sometimes 4 times a year, I'll do the healing circles, 2 Prema Agnis and 2 Prema Dharmadatus in between all the other events I do, just to keep, the spiritual gym, the energy going. So what I want to do now is to show you the symbols, for those of you who don't know, or demonstrations of the symbols. Now, of course, I showed you the if you wear it, we have them. You can always purchase them in jewelry form and wear it, just like you would wear a cross or a Star of David. This is the new sacred symbol of Prema Dharmadhatu. So I always connect with that expression and have that close to and it's literally lying on my high heart chakra, right? And of course, so what happened is the Prema Agni came first, right? This is the Prema Agni. See, I know there's a lot of light in the background, so I'll put it against my pink jacket so you can see. It's the heart over the triangle, and it represents Prema, meaning love, Agni meaning fire, the fire of divine love, and it's a cutting action with the symbol and how you draw and the consciousness of it to open up to love and break through obstacles to that. So it has a very masculine, strong vibration. It looks sort of like more of a masculine symbol, as you'll see, compared to the Prema Dharmadhatu, which I'll show you in a second. And this is a decal that we've had made that you could iron on jackets, on pillows, etc. So you can use it all kinds of ways, where you put it in your wall or whatever. Some people hang them on Christmas trees as an ornament. I mean, it's universal, anything, right? So now, then after that came the rising star, which is this Star of David and the staff of Shiva over the Prema Agni, signifying the healing, full healing of the body in preparation for the Ascension. And with that came a strong healing modality, in fact, the strongest healing modality on the planet. So the Prema Agni was given to us as a daily application to use, both in consciousness, to meditate and contemplate on, and also to draw as a symbol on ourselves or others, to have a continual sort of like daily mini healing, if you will, mini adjustment, mini alignment rather. And then a year later, when the Ascension was starting to heat up to prepare for that, the rising star appeared. And of course, there's a lot more information of that elsewhere that we can't go into now. And then in about 2008, the Prema Dharmadhatu manifested, which is the hearts mirroring each other. Because the Prema Dharmadhatu, if the Prema Agni is anchoring of divine love, Prema Dharmadhatu is expansion of divine unconditional love. And there's actually 2 ways you can incorporate this symbol, as we'll show you later. You can draw it from the north or from the south, and it helps heal all those karmic lifetimes when we brought up energy from the south and bypassed the heart, or when we were too sexually deviant, or we brought in energy from the north, bypassed the heart, and we're too intellectual or cold and short-lived, whatever lifetimes we've had, and bypass the heart. And that part of healing all that karmic debris or vestigial, resistance or whatever that's in us still, because we still have stuff we're working through. None of us are perfect, right? So anyway, in 2008, and the reason that the Prema Dharmadhatu as a sister symbol to the Prema Agni and the rising star came in was because it was the application of how the Ascension was unfolding, which was the return more and more of the divine feminine consciousness. And around that time, you heard a peak, the goddess energy. Everybody's talking about the goddess energy, and green goddess salad dressing to this woman's a goddess, and all that kind of God is a female, all the return of the divine feminine energy in all ways, culturally, religiously, and there's a resistance to that, of course. But that was coming in more and more. And so the symbol mirrored to manifest. because all sacred symbols throughout history and consciousness associated with those symbols manifest to mirror where we were at that particular time. And now we're at the time. And so these mirror, that's why these are very, and this you could see, it looks more feminine as opposed to this look a little more masculine. But yeah, of course, they're both integrated. And, it's not sort of like a gender thing. But in a sense, it is, in the sense of the balance of divine masculine and divine feminine, and representing us, like the head, the body, the legs, the feet, the arms, the hands. We are these symbols. These symbols are us. So when we look at them, we immediately remember and awaken to who we are on some level instantly, rather through an intellectual process of meditation or, long drawn out chanting or whatever, which you can do. And then around 2015, when we had worked very hard, a lot of us as light workers and just people trying to be good and better, the Prema Prana Huti came about, which is the penultimate symbol. And the Prema Prana Huti means the fully, divinely, abundantly enlightened, realized, and ascended while still living in the body and manifesting that divine abundance. And so what it is, as you can see here, is the rising star symbol with the cup of divine abundance added to it on the bottom. I don't have one with me physically, but I probably do. I don't want to get out of camera frame, but it is. So if you can see it, let's see if I can do it where, see that the cup of divine abundance added to. It's very exciting because when it was manifested, we were told, it was coming and something was going to be added to the rising star. We were wondering what it'd be, or was it a circle? Was it a this? Was it a that? Was it an infinity symbol? And many of us, and then finally when it came, wow. And so it's still new in the infancy stage, but a lot of us are wearing it. That's a, what do you call it? A decal. I have it on the back of my phone, a small one. This you can put on a decal you can put on a notebook or wherever. So yes, there's these little, I don't want to say commercial, but fun things, decals and iron-ons and, wooden things that are carved or, jewelry. But all of that, like with the cross or the Star of David, whatever, helps. The flower of life helps. You could see it above me here. That's a flower of life above my bed there, all the way in the top, that brown circle. It just, every time I look at that, it flashes the flower of life to me. You know what I mean? So on some subconscious level. So it keeps you in that space. It's just a nice, fun thing to have. And even like, this is a sweater I had when the Prema Dharmadhatu came out, a nice blue color, soft blue color. And I put the Prema Dharmadhatu as a decal on the back and I wear it. So it's always on my back, always has my back, always, awakening the heart chakra when I wear it. Just like you would wear a shirt with your favorite actor on or whatever, in that sense, or your favorite show or band or whatever, this is a spiritual application. So, I mean, they're I don't want to say superficial things, they're minor details, but it's just, again, it's right now about raising, expanding, expressing that consciousness. And I remember when the Prema Agni first came out and a couple of us in the group would wear it, they'd take their kids out to the park and all the mothers would be like, "Ooh, what's that symbol?" They were drawn to it, and then more and more people learn about it. So it's because you feel the energy. They felt the energy. Of course, a lot of those people were initiated as well. And even celebrities have been known to wear it. I believe Jada Pinkett Smith was seen wearing the rising star at some point, and there were certain celebrities that would come to our events and be like, "Oh, wow, they're so-and-so." So everybody's seeking on some level. So again, this is all new. But the most important thing, obviously, is the consciousness and for you, the drawing and incorporating of the symbol within your own energy and your own being to help keep you aligned. And then when you're ready to help draw it on others, to help them as a mini healing. So I just wanted to show you the symbols in case you didn't see them. So today we're going to focus on the Prema Dharmadhatu, right? remember also, because the Prema Dharmadhatu is about expansion of divine love. Expansion is not only outer expansion or expansion of love to others and God. It's also about inner fulfillment, the inner expansion. Coming back to center, 0 point stillness. You always hear, everything you have is within you. Everything manifests is within you, right? So we have to remember always that the ego is dying a hard death. And so it's doing everything it can to create dissension politically, religiously, culturally, oppression of women, gays, and trans, anything that's different, anything that's new and coming in, oppression all the way across the board, because people are in fear and still holding on to dark energies that are attached to, whether because it makes them money or because they can't see past it or whatever the situation is. It's dying a hard death, but it's dying. And by fighting it, you don't get anywhere. It's just like if I fight with a Trump supporter on Facebook, they end up reporting me and I end up getting blocked for a month, and they're still going to stay and do stupid things and troll and all this kind of stuff. And a lot of it isn't even real people. It's just bots. So there's a lot of energy out there, which is why a lot of spiritual teachers, including mine, don't go on social media. And so that's one of the things I've been learning personally as a lesson is to, cool my jets on social media and just get on with the business of calling in light, even though sometimes I get so aggravated that people are so misinformed and silly. So anyway, because a lot of all this affects us, if 30% of the country remains unvaccinated, who knows when the COVID will end? If 30% of the country is misinformed, who knows who they'll vote for and how long it impacts all of us. So everything, like they say, elections have consequences. Any of your choices have consequences, right? And so again, when you employ the symbols and the consciousness of the symbols, it's helped me, and I know it will help you, to ameliorate as much as possible all the chaos around you. So like when I step out and deal with a dark energy on Facebook that I don't like, I'm stepping out into the maelstrom of the hurricane again, and I got to be whacked back until I get centered. Sometimes I get whacked back, and sometimes I do it on my own. But again, I built up enough stamina to at least, in my core essence, always be I would say always, maybe 90% in alignment, and 9 is completion. So if you can maintain the rest of your life in 90% alignment, you're good to go, because things are going to happen, good and bad. And this is just one small but powerful and important tool to help you do it, help you stay that way. And also, I always make the point, just like, you have to brush your teeth, you bathe, you comb your hair every day to maintain your physical cells. So too, as you incorporate daily the practice of drawing this symbol, Prema Dharmadhatu or the Prema Agni, on yourself daily, you keep yourself spiritually balanced. So until it becomes a habit, it's just that we're not used to doing that. We just brush our teeth, comb our hair, think about, oh God, I hate to go to work, I got to deal with this person, blah, blah, blah. When I get up, the first thing I do in the morning is give myself a Prema Agni, or if I feel like a Prema Dharmadhatu, I will. I tune in and choose what's better for me. And there's a real science to it. It's scientific as well as effulgent. Imagine if you didn't bathe every day. That's what homeless people show us. They don't bathe, they don't brush their teeth, they don't comb their hair, and they show us the extreme of what can happen if you, for whatever reason, let yourself go, or are forced to let yourself go for whatever reason in this lifetime, and how it's important to self-care. So not just self-care physically, we can self-care spiritually. And again, the Prema Dharmadhatu, the Prema Agni are powerful, simple tools available and open to anyone, simply and easy to access, to help us do that daily. My teacher, Derek O'Neill, my spiritual teacher, always says the only protection one ever needs is an open heart. The only protection one ever needs is an open heart. And that means that as you're in that heart space, and we'll see how that scientifically affects us as well as spiritually, you don't attract or mirror, or you attract or mirror less all that dark negative stuff. If you're not in that space, you're very vulnerable to dark influences, to negative energy happening, to accidents, to people attacking you, etc., etc. Not psychically, spirit, physically, so you can actually circumvent things if your karma allows it. If you have a strong karmic thing you have to pay back, you do, but even that could be ameliorated to a degree. So it has a value no matter what. Also, remember, the ascension is still unfolding and expanding, irregardless of resistance. The ascension is still unfolding and expanding, irregardless of resistance. So constantly tuning in is a good thing. Now, it's not necessarily, let me just do now is to focus in on what the Prema Dharmadhatu actually is. So when we say Prema Agni, we say the fire of divine love. Prema Dharmadhatu, what does that mean? What is that consciousness? So Prema, again, is love in Sanskrit language. Dhatu means sphere, like sphere of influence or sphere of reality, etc. Not necessarily a ball, the sphere you're in. And Dhatu is the dimension, realm, or sphere of the dharma of absolute reality, which is unconditional love. Absolute reality is unconditional love, not romantic. Obviously, we're talking about, the highest love vibration. What science reaches for as the 0 point, what spiritualistas refer to as be still and know that you are God. Dharma, referring to the universal truth common to all individuals at all times. The universal truth common to all individuals at all times. We're all one. We all bleed. We all live. We all die. We all grow. We all have equal value, right? All pebbles on the beach are valuable. And the distortion of that creates karma, which is what the ego's always done throughout time, try to create that distortion. So coming back to that point, that stillness, that 0 point regularly dissipates the creation of further negative karma and allows us to proceed more holistically. So there's an actual practical benefit in that it helps us stop creating negative karma, whether it's with our thoughts, which is where it generates, and most of us do it, or with actual actions. Maybe if we were doing Prema Dharmadhatu every day, let's say, and then an opportunity came along to steal some money, and we were tempted, we wouldn't do it at all. Whereas before, we might be tempted. I'm just giving you an example. But, it's that kind of thing, at all levels, proceed more holistically, and how you talk back to your parent, or how you deal with a relationship, or how you, with a friend, how you don't have to win every argument, whatever. So further, Dharmadhatu is the purified mind in its natural state, free of the observation rendered by dualism, as well as it is the essence, quality, or nature of the mind, indeed the fundamental ground of consciousness. So observation rendered by dualism, because everything is a perception. All perception that you have is projection, right? That's one of the highest spiritual teachings, which is hard to sometimes grasp. All perception is projection, right? Because we're all one, everything's a mirror. So the Dharmadhatu is the purified mind in its natural state, free from that. So it's the point before that, or above that, or after that. And that stillness, that centered, that nothingness, that void from which everything's created, whether it's the Big Bang in the universe, all the way down to our next thought, whether it's negative or positive, coming back to that space and strengthening that space. And the Prema Dharmadhatu will help you do that. It gives you more of an ability to, be in that essence, to be in consciousness as opposed to being unconscious. The correct view is all dharmas in the past, all dharmas in the present and all dharmas in the future are all together in the Dharmadhatu, not limited by space and time. So ultimately, again, it's all illusion anyway, a projection. There's only now is only, Eckhart Tolle, famous spiritual guy, always says that, or writes about that. There's only now. We hear that a lot. And sometimes it's hard to grasp these difficult concepts. So that's why these symbols manifest it, so that when we incorporate it, we feel it, we sense it on a deep level, intuitively, instinctively, without having to intellectualize. Of course, you can always read and expand your mind. All that stuff is great if you want to. But the average person usually doesn't have time. But they can draw the symbol every day for a minute and really get the benefit directly. And that's why we're here today. Also, the Dhatu is, I like this highbrow definition, the suchness. The suchness in which emptiness and dependent origination are inseparable. So again, it's just saying that moment before anything happens, because dependent origination means you're not empty. You're dependent on some source that to create some source thought that creates another thought or experience, etc. But it's saying all of that is inseparable. There's nothing there but just is suchness. The nature of the mind and phenomena which lies beyond arising, dwelling, and causing the root of dharma. Dharma is the actions that cause the karma to keep doing. So it's the nature of the mind itself. So where nothing arises, we just is. Of course, we're in a body, right? And we're still experiencing life, and we're meant to. But it's all, again, it's not about perfection. It's not about not being in your body, or people say, oh, I want to ascend and I want to go away. I want to go home. I want to go. No, you're asked to be in your body to experience. But there's the balance, the ongoing unfolding and balancing and experiencing more light and less of the other. So you're, as opposed to the opposite way, is what's going to change and shift us and move us into the next. And then when we incarnate, we'll take advantage of that and build on that. Other less intellectual definitions. Prema Dharmadhatu is the point of truth, the 0 point, the God particle, the point before the Big Bang, source of reality, keeping you balanced as you expand in all the chaos. Proper and decent behavior and good works. That which upholds, supports, or maintains the regulatory order of the universe. So again, the balance. If you're going to do bad things or evil things or negative things all the time, I think it might have been, I don't know who it was who said it, Cha, I can't say his name. Oh, I feel so embarrassed. I can't say his name, the Buddhist, the famous Buddhist. I think he said, going in the wrong direction is the root of evil, or something to that effect. In other words, if you can go the right way, go the right way. If you know what the right way is, go the right way in each moment, in each action. If you don't, you're leaning towards distortion of going the right way. And most of us, when we tune in, know what's right or wrong. Unless, say we're retarded or autistic or something, God forbid, and somebody steals a candy bar who's in that position. It's not the same as responsibility or awareness of somebody who doesn't have those conditions, that knows stealing is wrong and shouldn't do it. So there's always levels and layers, but at the end of the day, you know what's right or wrong. And the great thing about it's not about a judgment of what's right or wrong, and if you're wrong, you get slapped. If you're right, you get patted on the back. It's not about that. It's about staying in alignment, not creating negative karma, being positive. That's what coming home means spiritually, because you're going to do it in your body consciously, one way or another. That's what we incarnated for. That's what we built all these lifetimes up to do now. And yes, we have to pay rent and eat food and go to bathroom and live in a house and we're not in the clouds or not fully crystalline being yet. But still, that's the grace of this being the light worker in this time period and being more awake than others who are totally oblivious to all this and are just living in some form of chaos, maybe some day good, some days bad, and totally, and they even make fun of being woke, a lot of people, as if that's a bad thing. You know what I mean? So, there's going to be people that resist, and you just have to focus on holding light, sending them love, and connecting and communing more with people who are awake. Also, another saying by Adyashanti, another great, that I could say because I wrote it down. Adyashanti said, which could apply to the Prema Dharmadhatu, imagine trusting silence more than any thought you can come up with. I love that. Imagine trusting silence more than any thought you can come up with. And that's what incorporating the symbol every day will help you do more and more over time. Just like the more you brush your teeth, the healthier they get, the whiter they get. The more you brush your hair, the more luxurious it gets. The more you do these symbols or do whatever your spiritual routine is, the more evolved you become. In other words, I keep bringing that up because people still think there's a separation from spiritual work to physical work. Like in terms of taking care of spiritual care and physical self-care, and it's all one. We're all the same, we're evolving now. And if you want to get on the train to Ascension Town, you have to incorporate something as part of your routine. Now, yes, the penultimate way to do it, and the simple, easiest way that's for everybody, no matter who you are, religion, spiritual practice, whatever, is the Prema Dharmadhatu and the Prema Agni to incorporate daily. But there's other things you can be doing too, whether it's chanting or whatever you may want to do. Indeed, it's hard for most of us, to be silent for any length of time. But connecting with the Prema Dharmadhatu affords us some space to tap into this daily. It's not just lack of words or thoughts. It's about aligning with the strength that lies in stillness. I know myself, sometimes I don't like to be alone with my thoughts, so I'm alone a lot. So when I come home, I immediately turn on the TV, because when I myself am going through something and the TV's not on as a distraction, especially a good show I like or I'm watching, or what's going on in the news, I start getting still and silent, and then things come up I sometimes don't want to deal with. And so I have the Prema Dharmadhatu every day to help me at least a few minutes a day get back in that space. So even me, somebody who's steeped in all this, a lot of times after work, coming home or whatever, I just want to turn on the TV and watch Succession or watch, Housewives or whatever I'm watching, and just get immersed in that and forget. And that's okay too, as long as you also have your spiritual practice to balance and don't, entertainment is there for a reason, just like anything else is. Of course, it's overblown because it's the most fun and easiest and it's hard to break away from. But as long as it doesn't overrun you and your spiritual practice is most important, you're fine. So you're going to go in and out. But I myself find that, it takes me, it's hard for me to just sit still and be in that stillness. But doing the Prema Dharmadhatu really helps me achieve that, So just one other point. Prema Dharmadhatu, seed of truth or point of truth. Prema Dharmadhatu, meaning the symbol now, can be drawn on anyone and by anyone. Let me just bring it up to you again, for those of you who are not familiar with it. Let's see, here we go. It is a gift to all involved. In exchange, the receiver is asked to draw the symbol on 3 other people within 7 days. There are 2 ways to draw this symbol, which we're going to do today later on in this event. The northern energy is an expansive energy that opens the crown chakra. The southern energy is a grounding energy that activates the medulla oblongata, which of course is at the base of the neck. In determining which to draw, tune into the situation. If the receiver is more closed and internal, the northern approach is preferred. If the receiver is high energy or flighty, the southern approach may be best. You cannot choose an incorrect method, as the way you draw the symbol will always be the perfect choice. And again, it's because we're going through all these ups and downs. So they may need to expand this way to open up, or they may be too expanded and you need to, get back into the stillness. And because it's about expansion, there's two ways to draw it. The Prema Agni is one way to draw it. So again, when drawing these symbols, there's a spiritually inherent logic, which I'll show you and demonstrate. And as long as you follow that simple formula and don't deviate from it, you're great. If you find that you're, a little awkward in drawing something at first, you'll get used to it. But as long as your intention is pure, and as long as you follow the simple steps and don't try to impose anything on it extra or some other formula, you're fine. So that's one thing to be aware of. So again, it's not necessarily relevant to intellectually know everything, but now because we're in an instructional environment, it's a great time to do it. So you empower yourself and you have a confident sense and reference, so that when you do it, you can just go and know that it's encoded within you and you know what you're doing, and you can trust more as you actually activate the symbols. It's more important to feel it, right? And that's why we feel in our hearts. And the ascension itself is unfolding in the heart center and awakening the high heart chakra, which we're going to go over right now. Activating the symbols always allows this. There is a logic inherent in the signs of the body. There is a logic inherent in the signs of the body. Leonardo da Vinci called the human body the yardstick of the universe. I believe it was da Vinci. You see that thing with the symbol, him with the man, because he recognized as an avatar back then, everything was so connected. He just was an amazing avatar. Was very aware for that time. So what I want to do now is go over the ascension centers of where this is all unfolding and how the symbols are affected. Now, I didn't do this as much in the Prema Agni Healing Circle that we just did, but I will be doing it going forward in the Mahatma and the Divine Rays. There's many events like this through Zoom coming up, where actual experiential and instructional. So please, again, subscribe, hit the bell button, and you'll be informed and you'll be able to experience it. And again, share with anyone. So as we've evolved and as we've grown and as the planet has started to ascend from third into fourth dimension, remember we're 3D, you always heard 3D reality. 3D is where everything is very earth-based, and the fourth dimension is where duality is sharpened. So you got to be careful what you say, because it manifests quicker, good or bad, and the consequence faster happen, good or bad, to help teach you to break free and just surrender to come into fifth dimensional unconditional love, which we're headed towards. So again, these symbols, this consciousness, this time, the Prema Prana Huti, we're working towards that with the rising star helping us as a powerful healing. And then, of course, daily, the Prema Agni, Prema Dharmadhatu as symbols to really, we used to say the sign of the cross, which is also, as you know, you can see incorporated in the symbols. But a lot of the old symbols were distorted by religions to patriarchy, to how do you say it? To count, I don't know what the word is. To counterband, to steal all the old Wiccan and old ways symbols, like the Hindu symbol. It was a very sacred symbol, and all of a sudden it became like a swastika energy for the Nazis, or it goes on. It's very historical, and I go more in further detail that if you're not aware, in the links below, there's a video, Sacred Symbols and the History of it. It's worth a look at when you have time. But these symbols, the dark, when they came, the dark tried to do everything they can to distort them, and there's been many instances of it. And of course, Derek my teacher spiritually, had to really protect them. We trademarked them. So again, if you're a professional light worker and you want to use them professionally, like I do it before healing all the time, just to break the ice and let the person to relax and be open to the healing that's coming, especially if they're a lot of pain or whatever, it's best to join SQ Worldwide and be part of the energy and the legacy of protection around it. It's definitely worth it. But anyway, so the areas are the Ascension column, right? Which is runs in the etheric in alignment where the spinal column is its physical counterpart. The mouth of God, which is called the mouth of God, which is the base of the skull here, and the whole area is the shoulder, like a sort of a triangle shape. And we'll go more into that in the Mahatma, which is very important in the Mahatma later on in the month. The high heart chakra, which is between the throat chakra and the heart chakra, right here behind the breastbone above the heart, high heart chakra. And the heart itself, the heart center itself, and of course our aura. So as we're growing and our aura is expanding, despite us contracting, expanding, depending on how much light we are willing and want to hold and can, the higher chakras are appearing. So the chakra system was the 7 primary rays. There's the 7 primary chakras. The root right under your body, the Hara chakra, which is your sexuality chakra, below your belly button, right above, around the belly button, the solar plexus, which is God's will versus your will, where the surrender happens. Then the heart center, then the throat chakra, where you express connection. Third eye chakra, where all your psychic and intuitive energies arise, and then the crown chakra on top, which is closest to divinity, right? And so aligning all those chakras, which is what the rising star does, keeps us in peak health shape. But that's something you have to do in a real healing. It's almost surgical, psychic surgery in a way. You have to you can't do that every day. The Prema Agni will keep you strong every day. The Prema Dharmadhatu will, but rising star, the healing itself has to be done, every 3 weeks for a time. Then you wait, and then you do it again if you need. And so what happens is the other chakras opened up, chakras in our hands and feet, which is why the symbol manifested, because they're starting to open. Awareness is starting to happen more and more in these areas, which helps us open our aura, which you'll see in the drawing of the symbol in a little bit, right? It's all connected. 3 feet below our feet, the Earth Star chakra, connecting everything, anchoring all the energy into the earth, which we'll go more into in the Mahatma energy, is very important. 3 feet above us, so is the Soul Star chakra, which connects us to all the higher chakras of the stellar gateway. So as we are expanding consciousness, our aura is bright and opening, the centers strongly gather where they focus that energy that then affects us down into the physical. So when you're doing the symbols, you're also activating and healing, clearing these chakras as well. You see? So what I want to do is I'm going to talk about all these centers for a little bit, because it's very important for those of you who may not be aware. And for those of you who are aware, so you can see how powerful this tool is, even though it's simple and you do it a minute a day. It's the regularity of the practice of it over time that you reap the benefits. It's not like you do one singular one and it's done. So the mouth of God, etherically, is the whole triangle area from the neck to the base of the neck to the top of the shoulders. It includes the medulla oblongata and all that. Technically, it's the first bone in your neck, otherwise known as the atlas. It's fundamental to many components of human activity: eating, drinking, speech, breath, even romance, which is the actual definition of it here scientifically, because any of the things you do romantically, kissing, communicating to it, you can't if this is damaged. It is communication, interaction, almost a door to the soul. As the mouth of a river, it assumes the meaning of a door or gate, which leads access to another realm of existence. It's where all psychic info enters. That's why a lot of times throughout the day, at the end of the day, you're tense up shoulders, because you, like the same thing with the TV. We just want to come home and watch TV and forget. you're getting download information, psychic. Oh, you should leave your husband. You should marry this person. You should leave the job. You should change this attitude, whatever it is. And it's happening psychically, and you're internally, you're just tensing up. You don't want to deal. You just want to go about your business, right? I love this quote from Matthew 4:4 in the Bible. It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of God. So again, the Bible's never literal. It's not just word physically, which it is too. It's also action, thought, whatever. So stimulating that helps again to keep us maximally conscious and awake as possible. There is an actual little exercise which I'm going to do now to show you, which you can do every day. And I've been doing this for years. It's part of what's called, the Alexander technique. Many of you may know it. It's a great tool to adjust your body physically, right? And there's exercises that you do. So I do a standing up or, sitting down, but I'll do a sitting down for now. Feet together, just relaxed. And what you do is you extend now watch my both shoulders, right? Extend my arm. I keep my body straight. So if you have to hold your body like this, don't do this, right? So you're just gonna 1, 2. See, I'm allowing my shoulder 3, 4, 5. Then I keep it there out. Then I do 1 circle, 2 full circle, 3, 4, 5. Then still extend it. I make a fist and I do 5 wrist rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 one way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 the other. It's better to do it standing up. I let my arm drop and I do shoulder rolls. 3, 4, 5. Now you can see, if you notice, that this dropped. I'm not particularly tense now, but you can see how the shoulder automatically dropped and this is still a little high. It got rid of the tension in the body. It's a great exercise. And what this does, it also physically allows you to receive psychically more. It's all connected with the mouth of God because, I receive a lot of psychic information. So now I'm going to do the other side. Again, if you need to hold your body, you can. So 1, you could do it with me too. 3, 4, 5. Remember, you want to stay still and not, the point is your shoulder. Extend your shoulder. And then while it's out, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You might hear little bones crack, and that's good. Then make a fist. Not tight, but just make a fist. And then wrist rolls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the other way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Still extend it. Then you let your arm drop. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And see? So all that little tension I had just by teaching and being focused and everything wasn't particularly bad tension. It's just normal, you see how it released that. Now I'm able to receive more. So again, it's an exercise you can do daily. I do it all the time because, I get stressed at work or something, it relieves a headache. I sometimes do this, grab my out and then put it down. And then I'll grab my hand, pull down a little more just to stretch out my neck and do both sides. It's another thing that helps. But if you can, do that Alexander technique and you'll find over time you're able to access stress better, which leaves you more open space to help you with your mouth of God. So that's one of the important ascension areas that, again, when you do this on somebody's back or you do it on yourself in your own aura, it opens and activates and heals. It's sort of like a spiritually massages temporarily for that time briefly if you're tense there too, right? Because everything's connected. So then we have the high heart chakra, right? So the high heart chakra is located, again, between the throat and the heart chakra, right behind the breastbone above the heart. And you can see I have my Prema Dharmadhatu resting right on it. And it's connected with the thymus gland in the physical, which is a gland that looks like an oyster that is responsible for growth hormones, right? So the high heart chakra is opening as we're reawakening, because high heart chakra is where the ascension is fully coming into the body and expanding out, radiating. So even science is starting to recognize these things. Well, of course, they don't call it that. But spirituality is understanding and recognizing it as we open and evolve and change. These are centers that are happening, and they're just as valuable as the regular 7 chakras have always been. And they need just as much physical and spiritual self-care. And again, these symbols were designed to help us access that. So it's located there in the etheric, and it correlates with the thymus gland and the physical. The high heart chakra is also called the seat of the soul, where the body prepares, evolves for the 5th dimensional reality of unconditional love. So the more you're accessing the high heart chakra, which you do daily with the symbols, and of course with the Mahatma healings and energies, which we'll do more at the end of the month, the more you're ascending while you're in your body. Ascension is actual descension, a spiritualization of matter into form. It's not like you die, go up into heaven, and everything's forgotten. It's not about that. We didn't incarnate for that, right? So it's the place where intent is located. Remember, intention is the key to ascension. What I like to say, interestingly enough, the symbols, when you put them on their side, they actually look like keys, which is a silly thing, but in a sense, it's not. There actually are keys to ascension. And so they even have the ridges that the keys have. So it's all connected. Pretty wild, you know? But anyway, attention is the key to ascension, because ascension is happening anyway. People are going to get it or not get it. But as your attention, so as you're drawing the symbols daily, or you're getting healings, or you're meditating, or you're doing workshops, or you're seeing spiritual teachers, or you're going on pilgrimages, whatever you're doing, that's intention. You're intentioning to ascend while you're in your body, and you're intentioning to expand and grow. So the thymus gland is right there. The thymus gland is very active in youth, and it atrophies as we age after puberty. So I think 21 it did. Because why? How did it evolve that way? Why did that gland in our body organize that way over time? It's because evolution, we closed down our heart. We closed down access to the high heart chakra. How did we slash and burn and kill and betray and have all these short-lived warrior lifetimes, defended and defended? And mean-spirited, ignorant, and all the dark ages, blah, 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 blah. We didn't have an open heart then. Some of us had, who were avatars or were seeking for that. And that's why you had a lot of people that cloistered as nuns and monks and all that stuff, because they had to get a way to maintain that, because the majority of the world is not like that. But there's no more hermits in the world. The hermit is in the world. There's no more hermits in caves. We all have to come out of our shell, and we all have to hold love and light or not. And there's consequences, and there's not consequences, you know? And so it behooves you, if you can and you will, and you vibe to this, to please do it in your daily routine. I promise you, if you do this for a month, a Prema Agni for a month, you're going to see such a marked difference in your heart awareness and the way you react and relate and receive things. You know, that it's going to be a marked difference, and it only gets better from there. So now, as the high heart awakens, the thymus gland is reawakened. That's why you feel a lot of tingling there when you have a healing or something, or heaviness. That's all part of the process of the reawakening of that gland. And the more that physical gland activates, just like if you have a healthy spine, your ascension column could be activated more. Again, we don't get it. We're all connected. It's all connected, as above, so below. And coming into that space of being aware of more than just this physical body, to eat, sleep, shit, screw, go to bathroom, die, smoke, cigarette if we want or not, or eat health food or not. You know, we're more than that, right? So again, as we activate the symbols, it reinvigorates. It's like placing it, you know, the hydrated mushrooms, and then you put it in water and it becomes plump and full again. It's sort of, you know, a silly example, but it's sort of what's happening. The more we hold light, more ascension, the more that gland is activating, the more high heart chakra is opening. And that is literally going to physically change us. Why? Why is that important? Because the thymus gland is located in the chest behind the breastbone, and it plays a key role, this is science talking, in immunity by producing immune cells. Its primary function is nurturing T cells, which are white blood cells responsible for fighting infections. It is just in front of above that. So as we evolve, it keeps us healthier. It fights these infections, and it fights this. And all this COVID, you might say, well, why is COVID happening? All this stuff, because there's such a strong reaction, resistance, recalcitrance still for a lot of people to change. And it's affecting all of us. So that's why it's strong for us to not get into drama or fear, or, go into that hurricane and stay in the eye, and hold light and anchor light and generate light more, radiate light more, irradiate light to others more, hang out with people who are more light. And then eventually it takes over. The assemblage point of ascension is like 51%. It's almost like a vote. You have 51 majority rules. It's the same thing in that if you send with 51% of your connection to all these energies, the other 49 eventually folds in. But you got to get to that 51% on a consistent level and it build, and then eventually the other resistance goes away and falls in. And so we're all on a different journey. We're on a different level of tolerance to receive and accept light. Be easy on yourself. Be gentle on the creator, like my teacher says. There's no race to the finish line. There's no right or wrong. There's no rule. There's just an ongoing allowed process. And these simple tools that the Divine has given us and these great symbols is there to have every day. And that's what's going to help you. And you activate. You don't have to study. You don't have to chant for hours. You don't have to meditate for hours. You just have to allow it to unfold over time. So then we have the Ascension column, or sometimes called the Ascension pillar. This central channel works a lot like the wire filament of an incandescent light bulb. The more prana, energy, electricity you pour through this filament, the brighter your light shines. It's correlated to the spinal column in the physical, where all the nerve impulses, of course, are stimulated. So it starts at the base of the skull, right after the atlas, at the mouth of God, of course, all the way to the pelvis, and along as well the chakra column. So again, as you will see and experience, the symbol manifested as a perfect little healing and alignment tool to treat, spiritually massage all these important energy centers. And again, I reiterate, just like you brush your teeth, comb your hair, take a shower, clip your nails, whatever it is, put makeup on, you can do before you go out the door, Prema Agni, and it's part of your self-care. It's not just the physical. And remember, when you do these symbols, as you'll see when we demonstrate it later on, you're in your energy. You're not just a physical body, you're your whole aura. You're in your energy field and you're massaging, healing in your energy, which brings me to the aura, which is very important. So the aura is where we mostly have, and mostly now consciously or unconsciously, recognize divinity. We feel it. Whether you see a culture and a great performance by an actor and they have this great moment and you get these chills, is because they're touching some divine connection and it's registering to you. Or music, if you hear great music like a classical swell or something and it moves you, or you read a line in a book that's so well written that it just stimulates you beautifully, all the way to actually feeling God in the moment by something that happens to you, a kindness that's delivered to you, a real connection with a loved one and their aura. It could be anything, right? That's where we mostly have experienced it. So be aware as we awaken and ascend, what is actually again a descension of light into our bodies. Our aura always stretches, brightens, and expands. And again, it's not exact science. It'll come and go until it eventually, it just expands and we're all light. We are the Prema Agni. We are the Prema Dharmadhatu, right? We are the rising star. So science tells us that our skin is the largest organ of the body because that is the extent, or has been, of our awareness in 3D with ego attachments, etc. Because if we bleed, it hurts, it's cut, we got to tend to it. Oh my God, my body, or something happens, somebody hits you or whatever, right? But as we allow it more light and explore interdimensionality and consciousness expands, we are coming to realize that the aura is our largest structure of the body. And all the healings, especially the initiations you receive, etc., are there to prepare us for the shift. Just remember, it's ongoing, intense. So again, utilizing the tools like the symbols, helps maintain you and keep you balanced as you're going through all this experience. Because it can be very intense when your aura expands, because you're shedding old stuff that's been trapped in there. That's why healing, you can't do the right store every day. If it's clearing out a lot of junk from lifetimes in your, say, your heart chakra, that's like psychic surgery. You need time to heal that. You can't pile healing and healing upon itself. It needs time, 3 weeks to integrate before you would ever do another one, right? And a silly example of this is, I like to always say that, you remember those old Jimmy Dean sausage commercials where you have the sun and the moon and there's the rainbow and the stars, and they're all drum and they're down for the morning. Then they eat the Jimmy Dean sausage, and next thing they're bright, and there's all this billboard cardboard around them. If they're Jupiter or the sun or rainbow, it's all bright. And of course, that's a misleading advertisement, because eating meat actually deadens your aura. But the point is that it shows this, albeit distorted, connection to the realization that as we put good stuff in us, which, sausage really isn't, let's be honest, no matter what the brand is, no offense to Jimmy Dean, I'm sure it's fine. But the commercial is like trying to sell you that, oh, if you eat this, you're going to brighten your whole aura, your day, your being. And they literally have the cardboard cutouts lighten up in color, and then the moon and the sun is all bright, right? So it's just a silly example, but you'd be surprised how important media is, the news is, all this stuff, culture, religion, politically, is what we deal with. So that's why the dark works so hard to work through entertainment, to work through religion, to work through politics, because it knows it can get us. And we have to rise and see it for what it is, a silly commercial. Obviously, you won't believe, go buy Jimmy Dean sausage because you believe you eat that and your aura is going to expand, but they're trying to convince you of that at some level. It's all unconscious too. They may not even be consciously doing it. It's just the dark versus the light. So we all have to err on the side of simplicity, truth, stillness, balance, right? All these things. So all this happens through and in the heart. And because many are so disconnected and resistant still, there are many heart issues we go through. So again, using these symbols helps a great deal. And even science recognizes the healing power of the heart, which leads me to this next important information, which you may have received before, but it bears witness to the importance of what we're doing here today. This is actual scientific literature. It's not spiritual literature, right? The heart sends more signal to the brain than vice versa. Used to be, we thought the brain was whatever, right? The human heart is now documented as the strongest generator of both electrical and magnetic fields in the body. Important because we've always been taught that the brain is where all the action is, because we've always been in our head. While the brain does have an electrical and magnetic field, they are both relatively weak compared to the heart. The heart is about 100,000 times stronger electrically, and up to 5,000 times stronger magnetically than the brain. Important because the physical world as we know it is made up of those two fields, electrical and magnetic fields of energy. Physics now tells us that if we can change either the magnetic field or the electrical field of the atom, we literally change the atom and its elements within our body and the world. The human heart is designed to do both. And this is exactly what the symbols do on a physical level over time. Not like you do it once and, you got to keep doing it daily, right? And it's healed and strengthened by actuating these symbols. It's not just one, singular overwhelming feat. So I wanted to go over all that because I thought it was important, for you to have a basic overview understanding of that. If you didn't, you're in your energy, you're in your aura, you're all these parts of your being are opening and awakening. They're actual places, they're actual experiences, they're actual elements of you, and they're all incorporated within the symbol. And it just, to me, it reminds me that God is real, that source can manifest and create something so magnificent and so simple and easy, and yet, wow, even if it's just a simple little healing, the thought of it alone existing, the concept of it is wow, And again, I've been doing thousands of Prema Agnis on myself and others in long distance since 2003. When my teacher first took me on the stage and drew it on my back. And I've been doing these healing circles since 2004. And I've seen, and now others have started to do healing circles too. Anybody can do it. If you feel you're confident, comfortable enough to run a circle like this or an event like this and do it legitimately, by all means, just don't charge anybody. It's not about me in any way. I'm just stewarding because I believe so passionately in the symbols and I see the value and effect of what they are. And it's just like, I'm like, everybody, come on, wake up. I feel like the guy in the Invasion of the Body Snatchers with the aliens. They're here. No one's listening. I'm like, the symbols, they're great. Use them. I know, I'm being silly. So let's see where we are here. So the symbols, all the sacred symbols do and manifest, have done so from the very beginning of time to mirror our connection to the divine where we were at that moment, to instantly recognize our oneness in a visceral, non-intellectual way. We all have this response when we wear, look at, or draw a sacred symbol. It reminds us of who we are without long drawn out teachings or meditations. Let me see here. So again, we're still in a body, not of the body. And as light workers, anchoring light through the body and allowing light to simply radiate out is our mandate, whatever area of life you find yourself. And often, as in life with everything, the simplest, easiest thing is often the hardest to do. Just being still and knowing you are God. Just doing a simple meditation every day, like throwing the Prema Agni and allow it and part of your routine, because most of us are not used to it. But once you get used to it and incorporate it, you start to see an upliftment regularly. So I know I threw a lot of information at you. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a few moments before we actually go into drawing the symbols. And we're going to meditate and connect with this consciousness for you so that it can resonate within you deeply, so that when you go to draw the symbol daily every day, simply and easily for a minute, it still is powerful and strong and effective. So just, get yourself ready. I know you've been sitting a lot, so if you want to stand up a minute, shake it out. Just, whatever you need to do, shrug your shoulders, shake it out, get ready, and come back and, feet on the floor, relax. And so now take 3 deep life force breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. And by the third one, we'll close our eyes. Adjust your volume, if you will, first, if you need to. Make sure your spine is straight but not rigid. And on the third exhalation, just close your eyes. Sit in stillness for a moment. And as you come to sit in silence, continue to breathe evenly in and out. Join the stillness. Be aware that as you continue to inhale now, God exhales. And as you exhale, God inhales. As you inhale, Source exhales. And as you exhale, Source inhales. You and Source are one. With your eyes closed, your body relaxed, it is this inner knowing, inner realization that can bring us to that 0 point, that point of stillness, the Dharmadhatu. And we can more and more now in this space shed and detach from any pressing concerns and thoughts of the day we may have. As we now, with intention, invoke the divine feminine energies, the Prema Dharmadhatu, to wash over us now, to bathe our auras in its healing, effulgent light, soothing and brightening our auras. And so now, please place your hands over your heart, left over right, left over right, becoming aware of your anchoring of this energy, like a bomb throughout all the levels and layers of your beingness. And as we now intention to receive the grace of the Prema Dharmadhatu to expand our consciousness of love now, simply allow, with each breath, each exhalation, expand, expand, expand. Inhale, release, expand. Inhale, release, expand. Allow the divine feminine to coat your aura with unconditional love and light as you've never allowed before. You are perfectly safe and protected in your divine birthright to receive. And staying where you are, enjoying this healing stillness for a moment more now. And taking a deep inhalation, allow your palms to open and rest your hands on your knees, palms up. Exhale through your mouth. And whenever you're ready, come back to the room and open your eyes. So, that was just give you a sense of connecting in a deeper level, and you could feel, I hope, the stillness that's there within you, even though I'm talking, even though you're receiving this experience. You're still that energy of grace within you. And that's what you want to maintain as much as possible whenever you can, or come back to as easily as possible. And so now we're going to get into actually drawing the symbols. But before that, I just want to go over the points so you're clear. You're aware there's no charge to anyone. It's free to all. It's asked you, if you can, to simply, if you receive one on somebody, or like if you give one to somebody, tell them to do it on somebody for three times, 3 people within like a week if they can. You can do some long distance. Again, please view those links below, especially part 2 and part 3 of the Dharmadhatu ones. The first links below will show you how to do that. We had a lot to cover today, so I didn't want to include that directly when I have the links there and you can watch them. So it's really part of the experience. Don't do it all at once. Choose one day to do a Prema Agni. You might want to do Prema Agni for a week. You might feel like one day you're flighty or jittery. You need the south grounding one. Or you may feel you're stuck and you want to open your consciousness, and you do the north one. We're going to do both of those now, the Prema Dharmadhatu. So just tune in, right? You can't do it wrong. Today, specifically, I'll show you technically. And if you feel a little uncoordinated, some people are uncoordinated with drawing. Don't worry too much. As long as you follow the basic formula steps and your intention is pure, that's what's important. And again, practice on yourself first, for a while before you go ahead and practice on other people. So if you take a month and just do it every day on yourself, watch the other videos I have, explore, the more you put into it, it's like anything else, the more you're going to get out of it, right? You can't watch an event like this every day. This is bringing you the horse to the water, and now it's up to you to drink. And I'm sure you can, and anytime you do it is fine. And again, please share with anyone you can. You can practice on friends, say I got this new little mini healing for you, and show you how to do it, etc. So there's 2 ways to draw the symbol. Again, let me just show you. Here's the symbol, heart mirrored with the other heart. Looks like a feminine sort of figure. So when you draw the symbol, right, you're going to be awakening all parts, body, your third eye, your soul star, your crown chakra, your throat chakra, your hierarchy, your heart chakra, your solar plexus chakra, in your aura, in your energy. All of that is part of it, right? You don't have to worry about it, just so you know that it's not just your physical body, So, okay, here we go. So this is how you do it from the south when you want to ground and you're feeling too expanded or too flighty and you want to ground the connection, right? So the important thing when drawing these symbols, Prema Agni or this one, is to put all your fingertips together, because you don't want your energy splayed. You want them focused, right? You put your fingers, of course, you get centered for a moment, take a moment. Now I do this when I get up, look in front of a mirror before I go to work, or I could do it right in my bed, when I'm laying in bed, and do it out. Do it sitting down like we're going to do now, whatever is comfortable for you, And you could do them before you go into audition if you're an actor, before you go to a meeting if you're interviewing for a job, before you go into a board meeting. A woman's going to a board meeting with a bunch of hard-edged men. You want to do the Prema Agni and blow it in there long distance, or just do it on yourself to be strengthened. All of it helps. It all helps, right? It's very versatile, universal. Don't overdo it. Don't underdo it. Think of it as taking, medicine, a vitamin every day. It's a spiritual vitamin, right? So, when you're sitting, it's fine. When you're standing, you want your feet together, so you mirror the symbol. The energy flows. It's not splayed. Again, like when your fingers are splayed, your feet are apart. It dissipates the energy. You don't want that, right? So, but when you're sitting, you don't have to be crunched or stiff. It's fine because your feet are firmly on the ground and you're sitting spine, but you're erect but not rigid. You put your fingertips together. You're going to come up. You can watch me first. We're going to go over it, and you can make a natural dip, right? Now, before I show you this, you can just do it out in front of you within your aura. And it's just as effective. It's important because it's still in your energy aura. I always use this as the midpoint between the two hearts, the third eye, because that's where all the intuitive psychic abilities activated. So it's most effective. And then I say 3 times as above, so below, and breathe the energy in. But if you want to do it in the full way, to fully give yourself a daily awareness, awakening, massage, mini healing, etc., either way is fine, right? As long as you do the steps. You're sitting down or you're standing, you're going to come up. And you'll notice when you come up with your arms without reaching and without crimping, it's just naturally in your aura. And what happens when you raise your arms? Your heart pumps faster, your heart blood pumps faster, circulates more again, which activates and opens everything. And you just put your hands, it makes a natural dip of the heart. It's like a heart. And you make a heart, and the bottom of the heart comes to the third eye. Then in one continuous motion, you come down to your belly button where the solar plexus is. You come back up to your high heart chakra, right? And you make the mirrored heart, and the tip of that is at the same point where they meet. And in one continuous motion, you do 12 zigzags to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. You come down, because when you do the zigzags in that space, you're clearing debris, like scraping your teeth. You're bringing it down, and you click. You go like this, clockwise. Click by your belly button, and that lets all the junk debris release, and the expansion to ground within you, not just out there. If you feel flighty, you immediately should feel a calm. And then you go across that point to activate it. Open your arm to scoop away and widen and expand, and you hold the space as long as you can. 30 seconds, a minute, 5 minutes, whatever time you have is fine. You don't have to do more than a minute, really. And you say to yourself 3 times aloud or silent, as above, so below, as above, so below, as above, so below. And when you're ready, breathe it in. Put your hands over your heart, left over right, because right releases what you do with the Prema Agni. Left brings in divine feminine, mother. You want to bring that energy in. And you hold it for a time. Then when you're ready, I always put my hands in prayer, bow, gratitude, and that'll help me detach and acknowledge the great gift, right? So we're going to do it again, but that's just to show you. Now, I want to show you inside so you see. Now, with your aura, you have your physical body, your etheric body, which is 2 inches out, your emotional body, which is another foot out, and your ego body, which is another foot out, and that's where you're working. You notice how it's all designed. Inherent spiritual logic. That's where you're doing when the aura needs the most repair anyway, the emotional ego body, then the higher intellect, then the intuitive body, and the causal body, which is the highest. And that's all around you, down, below, around, up, all around. And that's your whole being, that's your aura, that you're activating, awakening, healing, clearing. So you're in your energy field. When you go to do it on somebody else on their back, you're in their energy field. It's like a mini healing, right? So, it's a whole different ball game. And again, the clips below are links to videos to show you exactly how to do that. So let's just do it again this way. Come up. Hands up naturally. Say I don't have to do anything. I just have to not reach, not crimp, just natural. Heart is pumping blood. Aura is being opened. I do the heart. I come to the point right at where the third eye is. Come down, belly button. Come back up to where the high heart is. Make the bottom heart, same point. And to the right, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12. Come down. Click it into place. When I get down there, come up, fingertips still together, straight across that point of the third eye. Open, expand in your aura, the energy, and hold that space. Hold that energy. It's all coming in. It's all there. It's all healing, clearing, massaging, releasing, opening. And when you're ready, as above, so below, as above, so below, as above, so below. And suck all the energy in for yourself. Bring your hands over your heart, left over right, and hold. And when you're ready, bow in gratitude and release your hands. You're imprinting in your aura the Prema Dharmadhatu. You're opening, awakening, healing all these parts of your ascension process in your body and connecting etherically, and your awareness is all connecting. Interdimensionality is all connecting. Now with the Prema Agni, we do 9 zigzags to the right. With the Prema Dharmadhatu, we do 12 because it's about expansion. And 12 is, 9 is completion, the number of completion. 12 is completion plus 3 is manifestation. So it's an expansion of that. And that's why we do 12. So don't do 11, don't do 13, do 12. And again, you don't need to go like this, very tight. Like say you scraping your tooth with a scraper. You don't want to go like this and hurt your mouth. You scrape and then you release it, right? It's the same thing. You're scraping your aura down and you click it into place. So you click the energy of the grounding into place, and then all of a sudden when you activate it and open it, you'll start to feel it, and it'll all work. Again, you're doing it 3 to a few feet in front of you naturally. And so that is the south way to do it. So let's do it again. I'm going to try it this way, and then I'll turn to face. So again, you're sitting there relaxed, or you're standing. And we're going to bring our fingertips together. We're going to make the dip, the heart. And you always have this point, whether you're physically, when you're doing it for yourself, or you always have that center, ajna center, third eye point, right? Let's start again. So you don't have to worry about if you can't draw. Just know that you have that point. Come down. Come back up to the high heart. Make the second heart. Bottom of that heart meets the bottom of the first heart. And then do 12 to the right. Down. Click into place. Open. Hold. As above, so below. As above, so below. Above, so below. Left over, right in. Detach. Now, remember, what was I going to say? I lost my train of thought. Okay, let's do it again. Oh, it's one continuous motion. With the south drawing one, it's one continuous motion. With the north, you take your hand off and do the zigzag. But with this, remember, it's a grounding of the divine feminine. I'm just breaking it down to instruct you. So let me do it quietly without any instruction. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. And then you go about your business. So don't rush it, but don't belabor it. Do it, connect in, give thanks, and allow it to be what it's going to be for that moment. It might be a little effect. You might not feel anything. You might feel a power effect of release. Every day is going to be different. Just like some days you brush your teeth, it's really clean. Some days you could have brushed it better. It's all the same thing in that sense. So just let it be what it's going to be. Again, one more time this way. Oh, my chair's heavy. Sorry. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. And so now I want to do a standing up. You can see me. All right. So again, you don't want your legs splayed. You want your feet together. You are the symbol. You are the Prema Agni. You are the Prema Dharmadhatu. Okay, that's a little better. So you're going to just relax, tune in. Bring your fingertips together. It's naturally up over your head. Make the dip. Make the heart. Come down, belly button. Up to the high heart. Meet the point there. 12 to the right. Down, click. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. You can do it silent or loud. Hold it as long as you like, depending on the time you have. And then when you're ready, okay? And your body types are different. Some people are shorter or longer, so the line will be longer or shorter. But as long as the heart is in, you try to align it. But if you're a little off, that's fine. Again, as long as your intention is pure and you do the steps. So now, what I'd like to do is let's do it one more time together. See if you got it. And if not, you can always refer back to this. I would look at my screen for the time. If you want to go back and write it down or refer to that time, if you want to just watch this part of the video again from the instruction part. So again, we're sitting down. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Okay, so now we're going to do the north way of drawing the symbol and using the symbol, which is when you feel stuck, or you feel like you're not getting through to somebody, or you want expansion. And so again, you still have the feet on the ground. And when you're standing together, again, I'm going to put our fingers together. Come up, make the heart. Make the heart. Then immediately make the other heart, and you see when you do that, it comes right to the high heart chakra. The third eye to the soul star, and the third eye to the high heart chakra. Come down, belly button. Then you're going to lift. It's not a continuous motion like the south. And you lift off, keep your fingers together, go back to that third eye point. Again, 12 to the right. Come down, still do the click in. The hands come off indicating we want to expand now. And then you come up to the right, past that point, open. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Now you're going to do it to the side. So you can see it in the energy, in your energy field, right? Sitting down. If you're laying down, just follow the same. You have the point. It's all perfectly logical once you get used to it. Again, if you don't draw it perfect at first, don't worry about it. Your intention is pure. It'll be fine. So we're going to bring our fingertips together. You make the heart. Natural dip, just let your hands go. Make a heart. Third eye point. Immediately make the second heart, the mirrored heart. And the top part of the bottom heart is directly touching your high heart chakra. Starting to activate it, you come down. Lift your hands off a little bit, but keep your fingertips together. You're going to go back up to this point in your emotional body, your ego body within your aura. And you're going to clear 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Tighten up. Crazy. Come down. Click into place. So whatever expansion you're going through is safe and connected. Then you're going to come up. Fingertips still together. Right across the center point of the third eye. Open your hands like we did before. Wait a while, whatever time you have. You can meditate for a half hour if you want, or just at least 30 seconds. A minute is fine if you do it every day. Whatever time you have before work, when you get up, whatever. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Don't rush it. Don't belabor it. The only thing I suggest is if you first do it when you first get up, you have to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom, and so you're not worried about tensing and tightening that when you're doing this thing. Okay, so I'm going to do it again without instruction. This is to the north. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Then go about your business. Remember, you could say it silently or loud, even whisper, depending if you want your roommate to hear you or not, or if you're alone, whatever. Now I'm going to do it standing up. Okay. Feet together. Not tight, but, just not splayed. You're the yardstick of the universe. You are the Prema Dharmadhatu. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. Okay, so I'm going to do it one more time without instruction. You can follow along if you like. As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. All right. So again, I highly, highly encourage you to please view those two, at least those two clips, if not the first four of the Prema Agni Circle live demonstration. You get a lot more out of it, and you see it, demonstrate it, and do a body mudra and everything. Here, I wanted to focus in on the reset and getting you set with two. So now, to close out the evening, the experience, I'm going to allow you to choose. And don't worry if you don't do it perfect. You could practice, rewatch this, whatever. Before I do that, I'm going to try to hold this sheet up. I don't know if you guys can take a screenshot and then blow it up, but this is a, see if this works. Is it working? All right, here. This is the instruction sheet for how to draw it. Let me see if I can get it. Sorry, I'm not the biggest technical person. Hold on. Okay. No, that doesn't help. So I'm going to try to see if you can somehow copy that. And then this is another one. You know, normally I would give these out in the workshop with all kinds of things, but this is another version. I don't know if that's going to register on your screen, the words. Maybe you could take a screenshot and blow it up and read it. If you really want, comment me below and somehow I can get your address and I can mail you a copy so you have it, because I don't think it's up on the website now, the official website, because it changed. I have to find out about that, but I'll find out about that. But in the meantime, if you really want a copy, I can mail you one, you know, a nice copy if you somehow get me your address. All right, so we did the south and the north. We explored the consciousness. You understand where it came from, where it's going, how to do it. Now I want you to choose, as we close out, one of the symbols, whether you feel you need it from the north or the south. Remember, the south is to ground if you feel flighty or jittery, and the north is to expand if you feel stuck a little bit. So wherever you're at that time, just tune in. And I'm going to do the north to expand, so for the mean average for everybody watching and viewing, that they get the expansion process. And we're going to just hold that with eyes closed. And I'll follow you through a little instruction meditation to receive the fullness of the experience and coding you can now. So again, that when you go to do it on your own daily, it's stronger for you. And again, if you have any comments, questions, you could put them in the comments below on YouTube after it's posted, and I'll get back to you. And then hopefully you'll join us on 2/22/2022 when I post the Embracing the Mahatma Energy event, which is bringing in the Mahatma even fuller, which is a whole another level and version and tool at your disposal, which is amazing and free and open to all. So again, that's why all these events are free of charge. That are the, you know, certain ones, because it's everybody's energy. It's not something you're initiated in or stepping up into. It's everybody's divine birthright to experience and explore. It's my pleasure to help steward them. And, you know, part of my mission is to expand consciousness and awareness of them. So here we go. Choose the north or the south way. Make a decision. And we'll begin. You keep your eyes open if you want until the symbol is drawn, and then I'll instruct you, okay? As above, so below. As above, so below. As above, so below. And so with your eyes closed now, hands over your heart, right over your left, arms crossed. Slowly and gently now, slide your hands up your body. Arms still crossed to the tips of your fingers, touch the opposite shoulders. Activating now the high heart and the mouth of God. And gently continue to breathe easily and effortlessly. Allow yourself now to receive the full grace and flow of the Divine Feminine, signified by the Prema Dharmadhatu, flow through every level and layer of your being now. Allow the Prema Dharmadhatu to take you on a journey of expansion. Whatever that means for you is perfectly fine. Try not to fight it. Know that you're perfectly safe, grounded, ready, buckled in for the journey on the roller coaster. And just give over and allow. Amen, amen, amen. Expand and breathe. Expand and breathe. Expand and breathe.
Oh, love, I pray that you break my heart so wide open that the whole world falls in. I confess I've been trying so hard to keep it all out, keep it all out. So love, I pray that you break my heart so wide open that the whole world falls in. I give up trying so hard to keep it all out, keep it all out. So love, fill me, breathe me to pieces. Love, I pray that you break my heart so wide open that the whole world falls in. If I'm made for love, make me strong enough. And when I need to hide, love, hold me in your grace until I feel safe. Then love,
And staying where you are, slowly slide your hands back down to your heart center so that your hands are back crossed over your heart, left over right. Enjoying the infusion, divine, feminine, unconditional, loving energy flowing freely now through your being, expanding your consciousness of love. And when you're ready, slowly and gently open your hands, placing them on your lap, palms up, and taking a deep inhalation. On the exhalation, and whenever you're ready, take all the time you need. Slowly open your eyes and come back to the here and now. And so, I hope you got a lot out of today. Again, as I said, please watch the other clips. It'll complement this and reinforce what we've done here today. If you have any questions, contact me. I hope you will join us 2022 for a very powerful Stargate Date and hopefully very powerful healing event, embracing the Mahatma energy. And please practice with the symbols. If you want a copy and it didn't work on the screen, taking the screenshot, please somehow get me your address. I'll mail it to you. And, just take it day by day. Use the Prema Agni, use the Prema Dharmadhatu. If you haven't seen the Prema Agni Healing Circle event, the link below there on YouTube. When you get a chance, it's all good, whatever time you see it. Please share, please like and subscribe. And namaste. Have a great day. Bye.